The Lambs is the first theater club in the United States. I know when we think of Lambs, it's like thinking of the Bronx. You know, we would go to the Bronx because our friends, the Bronxers, lived there. And Charles and Mary Lamb lived in a house near Dickens, maybe near Dickens' house. And then, but it burned down or something. Dickens' house is open again, so you can go to Dickens' house, see his writing table. You can visit the Sherlock Holmes home as well. That's not really where Arthur Conan Doyle wrote it, but it is a specific place by the war. The Lambs salon came to the United States in the 1870s with an actor, Charles Montague, and he was doing the same role over and over again, like Eugene O'Neill's father. He would play Cervantes, play Cyrano de Bergerac. What did Montague play? Do you know? Like one role that then he toured the world with his, well, the United States.
He was our first nephew.
Yeah, he's a big hit. And he thought it would be nice to collect other actors and writers to, he's called the Lambs, just like it used to be in England. And so that's how it was founded. In fact, it became a corporation.
Fuel.
It's the oldest, it's the first theater club in the United States. And a lot of the great composers and actors, they formed other groups as well, like ASCAP and Actors Equity. So many renowned members they have representations of them. I went to William S. Hart's home, by the way, in Los Angeles. He lived up on a mountain where he would film his movies. He's a Western director and sort of a rugged guy from New York. He wasn't really a cowboy, but he looked like one. He lived there with his sister. Is it with his sister? I'm trying to get this brother-sister thing going. Charles and Mary Lamb, we're brother and sister. And in our story, Claire, Sam's best friend, she's living with her brother. So we're going to begin again. Anyway, that's what the Lambs is. If you'd like, interested in joining, it's the lambs.org on the net. It's not the Lambs Club. We do appreciate your donations. They are providing this place for us as part of our, as a service to the acting community as they continue to do that. So if you want, there's a donation bowl there. There's a fish in the donation bowl. But okay, so now we're on to Act 2. Thank you for considering that, and thank you for staying for second half.
Sorry.
Yay! Woo!
No, Mother. He's just someone I met through a New York magazine. He was looking for someone to help him write his memoirs. No, Mother, that's ridiculous. I couldn't possibly have known that he was connected to the mob. At least not until chapter 3. Yes, there is a certain appeal. But he's a lot older than I am, and I think he's a lot older than he said he was also. And he lied about being single. He has grown children and a wife. And I met her. She's nice. And now she's gone missing for a solid month. And Roger's become a suspect. I've even been questioned by a detective. Look, I've got to go now, Mother. And why not? It pays well, and now I'm helping with the rewrite, and I've met the most interesting people. Mother, look, I'll call you later. And don't worry, I'm a big girl. I can handle this. Bye now. Oh, Lieutenant Hirsch.
May I come in?
Of course.
I just have a few more questions, miss.
You sound just like Columbo.
Oh, I'm the real thing, Miss Madsden. We're not going to be interrupted by a commercial.
Well, why don't you sit down? Will this take long?
No, not at all. I just want to get a few things clear. Now, for the past 2 months, you and Mr. Sherman have been working here every day in this apartment?
That's right. That's how I work.
And you work in the evenings, too?
That's right.
Isn't that a little unusual?
That's how I conduct my business, Lieutenant.
Have you ever been arrested, Miss Madsen?
What are you talking about? I went to Bennington.
You knew he was married?
Well, not at first. But, later on, yes. And I met her. She's very nice.
And was she aware that you and her husband were lovers?
Who told you that?
Well, after all, you're a very attractive woman. You've obviously been spending an awful lot of time here in the room, and the bed's right in the wall, right? You two together almost every night. It wouldn't be surprising for her to believe that the two of you were playing around.
She made no such accusation to me.
You know, I haven't seen a Murphy bed in years. These pre-war apartments are
Never mind my Murphy bed, Lieutenant. And my relationship with Roger is no business of yours. Even if we were fooling around, as you so elegantly put it, so what?
Well, let me ask you this. Did he ever talk to you about his wife, about his marriage?
No. We spoke mostly about his book.
Oh, yes, the book. The book was about his practice as a tax attorney. Is that right?
Well, that was the first draft. It's different now.
Now, he was the principal tax advisor for Giancarlo Massini. You knew that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Did you ever meet Mr. Massini?
Yes, I did. He's very impressive in a Sicilian sort of way.
In a Sicilian sort of way?
He reminds me of Marlon Brando in that movie.
Oh, yeah, they all practice the look. So where did you meet him?
In a social club in Howard Beach.
Visited Giancarlo Massini there?
Yes, and so what's wrong with that? He's very nice, Lieutenant, and so are his two associates. Very nice and very polite.
They're in the book.
Well, we disguised their names, of course.
Of course.
And I can't tell you what they said.
Well, I can always check the FBI tapes about that.
Well, what do you want with me, anyway?
I want to give you some free advice, Miss Madsen. You know you're dealing with pond scum here. These people have no respect for human life. If we could put them away, believe me, we would.
I don't believe you, Lieutenant. Giancarlo is a gentleman. And Vinny and Joe are very nice. They're college-educated, Lieutenant. They're not thugs.
No kidding. How well does Mr. Sherman get along with them?
He seems to be very friendly with them. They're consultants on his book.
Consultants. Wait until the captain hears this. So Mr. Sherman and the boys are friendly?
Very.
Now, have you finished the book?
No, we're changing the emphasis. There's going to be a lot of rewriting.
Of course there is. I'm sure Mr. Sherman finds it very difficult to say goodbye. Well, I'll leave you for now. Just one more thing. Do you have any family living in the area?
I have a mother in Forest Hills.
And does she know about Mr. Sherman and Mr. Massini and the colleagues?
I tell my mother everything.
And she approves?
My mother trusts me, Lieutenant.
It must be hereditary. I'll see you around, Miss Madsen.
It's Arthur, just calling to see if you've heard anything.
Hi, it's me. Please call me when you get in. I'm at the apartment. Roger, it's your mother. Remember me? Your father and I are worried about you. It's been over a month since we heard from you and Sam. What's going on? Why don't you come down here for a spell? It's beautiful in Boynton Beach. We'd love to see you and Samantha. Call me.
Come in.
Well, hello, Mr. Sherman. My name is Spence. I'm from Acme. You wanted an in-person report?
Yes, your agency's reports tell me nothing. You've had 2 full-time operatives looking for my wife. It's costing me a fortune, and you have no information at all about her whereabouts.
Well, you know, this is a tough case, Mr. Sherman. Your wife she isn't using a credit card or your bank account, and none of her friends have seen her. We've questioned hospitals, even the morgues. I mean, we just don't have any leads. But don't worry, we'll keep trying.
What about the police? You know, I've had a lieutenant from named Hirsch who's been here over and over and over again. The police can't find her either. He thinks she's dead.
Oh, well, look, don't worry, we'll keep looking. And if she's anywhere on the face of the earth, sooner or later, something will turn up.
I want you to pull out all the stops. Have you talked to the cabbies who may have been around when she disappeared, or checked the airlines?
Oh, of course. And we've even quizzed almost all the people whose names were given to us by you and your children. I mean, you know, you just can't get blood from a stone. We got nothing to go on. I wish I had better news for you, but don't worry, we'll keep looking.
This is very unsatisfactory. Who's leading the search for my wife?
That would be me.
You?
That's right.
Well, you sure don't look the part. Please tell me, how did a woman like you get into a job like that?
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I make cookies? Will I serve tea? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, your love of the third degree is torture for Daddy and me. Private eye you will be. Other girls love their curls and frills. I love my mystery books and TV. Hercule and Sherlock, Sam Spade was king. Perry and made my heart sing. And if your wife is bruised or dead, or in that dungeon, or tortured should be, or face down in the rubble or mud or debris, just relax. You got me.
You again? Are you planning on moving in?
This is not a laughing matter, sir.
Oh, I know that, Lieutenant. Would you care for a drink?
Not while I'm on duty. Have you heard from your wife?
No.
I just have a few more questions. Won't take long.
Don't you think I'd have been in touch with you if I had any word?
It's been 5 weeks, Mr. Sherman.
I'm well aware of that, Lieutenant.
Your wife seems to have disappeared into thin air.
This is your third visit this week. Isn't it a little unusual for someone of your rank to work on a missing persons case, let alone spend so much time on it?
Well, there are complicating factors here, sir.
You get your message across. It's you're suspecting foul play, is that?
It's something we have to consider under the circumstances.
You mean Miss Manson?
Well, she's quite a beauty there, and you've been spending an awful lot of time with her.
Miss Manson has absolutely nothing to do with this. You're supposed to be looking for my wife, not treating me like a suspect in some rotten melodrama.
I've made no accusations, sir.
No, but you've been asking an awful lot of questions about Miss Manston and focusing on my association with Giancarlo Massini. wife's disappearance really hasn't got anything to do with him.
I never said it did.
No, you don't seem to understand. I was just a tax lawyer for Mr. Massini, nothing else.
And the lovely Ms. Madsden?
Well, not that it's any of your business, but she was just helping me on a book I'm writing.
Now I'll tell one.
That's just enough. I want you out of here. Don't come back unless you've got a warrant or you've heard about my wife. I've hired an agency to come up with my wife, and I bet you they find her a lot more a lot easier than a bunch of cops with paranoid tendencies.
I'm sorry you take that attitude, sir. I'm just doing my job.
I just don't understand why you don't believe me.
Well, let's see. Your wife's gone missing. You're having a relationship with a beautiful young woman, and you have a known association with a group of vicious killers.
My wife may just have walked out on her own accord and will come back.
We don't need a body, you know. If I were you, I'd get myself a good criminal lawyer. Maybe your old clients can help you find one.
I don't need your advice, Lieutenant. Just get out.
I just have one more question.
What is it? What is it?
How does a Harvard-educated tax lawyer like yourself end up in Howard Beach representing Giancarlo Massini?
Well, if you just want to find out, maybe you'll have to buy a copy of my book when it comes out, Lieutenant.
The market took a hell of a dive yesterday.
I made a big mistake putting everything in an index fund.
Just write it out, Joe. You don't need your 401k money for years yet. The market always comes back.
I suppose I've been working on a nice little nest egg. I don't want to lose it. We're not in the business with much job security.
What are you worried about? Giancarlo's happy with you, and he's not going anywhere. He's careful. When was the last time you even saw his name in the papers? I'm telling you, no one knows who he is.
Except the cops and the bibbies. Without a lot of publicity, they'll never go after you. That's what did it, got him.
And that's what's got Giancarlo so worried about old Raj. If his case goes to trial, no way in hell we can keep Giancarlo's name out of the papers.
The scumbags will have a field day. They'll say, Roger brought us in to whack his wife so he could have it off with his ghostwriter.
Sounds like a Columbo episode.
I love that show.
Joe, I need to see Giancarlo.
Hey, Raj, we was just talking about you. Any news?
No, nothing. I hired an agency to find my wife, and so far they've come up with nothing. But I just had a visit from a city detective, and he thinks Samantha is dead, and he's threatening me with a homicide indictment. I don't understand. I thought you needed a body first.
No.
What do you call it? A corpus delicti?
Not at all. You do not need a body as long as you have sufficient circumstantial evidence. Sewn on Matlock.
Your problem, Raj? You don't watch enough television. You spend too much time watching Veronica. Not that there's anything wrong with that. She's one classy tomato.
I didn't think anybody talked like that. Look, guys, I'm really worried. I need to see Giancarlo. My former partners have absolutely no expertise in this area.
Sure, no problem. Joe, go next door and see if Giancarlo's available. You know, Raj, maybe you should bring us in on the case. We got connections all the way down the eastern seaboard, you know.
Well, the agency I hired has done absolutely nothing. It's probably a good idea. I'll get you pictures.
Sounds good.
Roger, it's good to see you again. I'm delighted you dropped by. We have another project we could use your assistance on.
Oh?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Ah, yes.
Sorry.
It's right about now that I should give my line, isn't it? That's right. There's a crematorium available in Hunters Point.
Crematorium?
Yeah, we're thinking of branching out, sort of one-stop service.
Well, John Carl, of course, I'll be happy to help you, but I've come to you with a problem of my own. You know, my wife has gone missing. I've had 3 visits this week from a city detective who doesn't believe a word I tell him. He says, take one look at Veronica and he thinks anybody in the force would think of trading up. He thinks she's dead. I don't know what to do. And I can't ask my former partners. They don't know anybody who could fix a traffic ticket, let alone defend me on a charge of homicide.
What have you told them of our association?
I haven't told them anything. I rely on the attorney-client privilege, which still works in this country.
Very glad to hear that, Roger. But I can see that you need the services of a lawyer who's experienced in the workings of criminal law. I have one you can meet with right now.
Well, thank you, Giancarlo. I knew I could depend on you.
Where are you gonna get him, boss?
Eddie Marischelli.
Eddie! Jeez, I wouldn't hire him on a rap for jaywalking.
We only use him for misdemeanor pleas. He's never even tried a felony. Why him, boss?
He's loyal, Vinny. He takes orders, just like you. He'll see to it that we're kept out of the trial.
What about Roger?
Roger's becoming troublesome. First a book, now a trial. Roger's retired. He said so himself. He can't help us anymore. But he could hurt us. Eddie will see to it that he doesn't.
And if Eddie is unsuccessful?
Then I'll look to you and Joe.
It's good of you to see me on such short notice, Mr. Marischelli.
It's a pleasure. Hey, call me Eddie. Everybody does.
How come we're meeting here instead of Giancarlo's suites?
I'm doing business here because I don't like to do business there. The mics pick up too much.
Mike?
They even bug the toilets.
Oh, look, I don't know much about criminal law, but Giancarlo says I can depend on you. My wife's gone missing and the police suspect me.
Yeah, he told me about your little problem. The best advice I can give you is to keep your mouth shut tight.
Yeah, but won't that make me look even more suspicious?
So what? They want to talk to you, have them call me.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're talking about a murder indictment. I mean, this is just a missing persons case.
Come on, counselor, there's more to it than that. They wouldn't be on your tail if it was all it was. You were seeing somebody, weren't you?
Yeah, but it wasn't serious. It was just an infatuation.
I believe it.
Look, I love my wife, but we weren't getting along so great, but I didn't even think she knew about the wife, and she, about the mistress, she would never have just walked away without talking to me first.
After all these years you've been hitched, she'll come back. If she's alive. And don't think about the girl. Believe me, there's more to it because the girl is forget the cops. And forget about the cops. They got no case, and they know it.
What do you mean?
They never get a DA to prosecute. All they have is an unexplained absence and a gal you've been stooping. They're only busting your chops to get to Giancarlo. They must know you've been doing his taxes for years and know plenty about the business.
You mean all I have to do is drop a few crumbs and I'm out of the woods?
you do that, pal, and you jump from the frying pan.
Just a minute, who are you representing here?
Just looking at the big picture. You want to get out of this without a visit to the slammer, right?
Right?
And you want to see your grandchildren grow up.
You mean?
Leave everything to me. I'm just saying, you don't want to fight a war on two fronts.
Oh, I think you just explained my situation perfectly.
Look, go home. Leave the broad alone for a while. And if the police call, have them call me.
I want you to know I never touched her.
Yeah, I believe you, pal. Look, go home. Don't talk to anybody. You still have the Bill of Rights. You know, the husband is always the first suspect. Husbands. And you still have the Bill of Rights on your side unless the current Supreme Court doesn't wait.
Roger, Lieutenant Hirsch was here asking me a lot of questions.
What did you want to know?
He wanted to know mostly about whether your wife suspected anything and about us.
Well, what did you tell him?
I told him it was none of his business.
Good for you. Did he ask anything about Giancarlo and the boys?
Sure he did, but I didn't tell him anything.
Uh-huh. Did you mention the motel?
No, I'm saving that for my memoirs.
Veronica, I just came from a visit with a criminal lawyer Giancarlo recommended.
Can he help?
If I'm indicted, I'm as good as convicted. This guy represents Giancarlo first, and I'm a distant second. He made no bones about it. Oh, he'll try to get me out of this, but not if it means, you know, getting involved with Giancarlo and the boys. I rat on them, and I'll need a new lawyer. And if I need a new lawyer, the next professional I'll need is an undertaker.
Roger, where does that leave me? As far as your clients are concerned, what you know, I know.
Oh, I'm aware of that. And you know, I just don't want to, I don't want to take any actions that were going to lead to going into a witness protection program or anything like that. There's got to be a way out. I don't know what it is yet, but there's got to be a way out for the both of us.
Roger, why don't we both visit Lieutenant Hirsch at the precinct? He hates the mob, and I can't believe he really thinks that you murdered your wife.
You know, every time that guy talks to me, I expect to see my face blazing all over the front pages of Newsday.
Do you have a better idea?
No, my attorney told me not to talk to the cops. I don't know if he was representing me or Giancarlo when he said it.
Roger, why don't we visit the precinct together?
All right, why not? You know, maybe between the two of us, we can convince Hirsch that I'm not an axe murderer.
So, precinct, your tax dollars at work. Sergeant Mulroney here. How may I help you? You've got a robbery in progress? Oh, that's too big. Tell you what to do. Make a list of whatever they got. And once you give us a copy, your insurance company will pay for it. What? You want us to come over? Why can't we come over there and stop the crime? Hey, this is Sunday. We're guarding churches. Bye now. What? The best of luck to you too, pal.
How do you do? I'd like to see Lieutenant Hirsch.
Who?
Lieutenant Hirsch, he's attached to this precinct.
No, he's not.
Oh, he must be.
This must be my day for weirdos. I tell you, there's no one named Hirsch attached to this precinct.
Yes, but he's come to my house several times.